Now today, while I was out riding the Ninja, the EX650R, a lot of memories that were going through my head were of the trip that I made to Florida, and I got to ride Ray's SV650, which had a lot of modifications. It was not a totally stock bike. I got to ride it though. Actually got to ride it across the whole state of Florida, so it was pretty cool. But again, Florida is a lot different than here. And this is his 650 here. And Ray, of course, is the keeper of my race bike. We got to ride in this F40 Ford, and that was quite an experience. I know I've posted that video up. But the biggest thing is the memories. We met a lot of cool people, Scott among others. My late friend Artie Thomas, he's passed on. We got to ride with him. Actually, it was the last time I ever got to ride with him. And to be honest about it, it was a great memory. And I think about it when I ride the 650 a lot. I'll explain. Boy, it's a good feeling to know all the chores are done around the farm and we're ready to get out on the open road. It's going to be another hot day. It's getting hot, hotter every day. And we want to get back early, but we want to enjoy the nice cool breeze in the morning. Now, comparing my Ninja and Ray's SV650, these are very, very similar bikes. And when you've ridden both of them, and I've had the opportunity in my lifetime to ride, literally hundreds of bikes. I've been riding for many, many years, since I was 14. So, and I'm 78 now, so there's a lot of bikes in between. But to compare them, I never was big about comparing things, but it always seemed a little bogus to me. But anyway, I want to pre-flight the bike today and take care of the chores in the yard, take care of the fish mainly, do whatever Karen has on the list to do today, because it's getting hotter by the minute. And I'll be dreaming about that trip I made to Florida and dreaming about riding Ray's 650 while I'm out riding the Ninja. And Karen just gave me the latest weather report, 0 chance of rain. Should be in the mid-80s, looking at the mid-80s, but boy, it gets to the mid-80s really quick, so let's get on the open road. Now, the SV650 is a V, and this is an uneven firing twin, and they have a very, very similar sound and a very similar power delivery from the throttle. Now, a lot of times when the weather really gets up into the mid-80s, right around the mid-80s, I start thinking I'm in Florida, but I'm not in Florida. And that trip down there, we got to ride across the whole state of Florida, and we got to see some interesting roads, and among other things, Ray is the owner of my original track bike that, what can I say about it? I'm glad it stayed in the family, and I'm glad I got to ride it while I was down there. I did a full restoration on it. That's one of the things on the channel. This bike, so many carbon fiber parts, so many little details, and you don't notice them until you look at it really, really close and do a thorough walk around. Now, among the other similarities, these bikes seem to handle almost exactly the same, and I couldn't find a whole lot of difference between them. And they're just about the same power, I believe. I think Ray's was a little faster. He had some modifications and some dyno time on it, but still very similar. And of course, the styling is in the eye of the beholder. I kind of like the styling of the front end of this bike But again, not everybody does. Now, another thing I remember about Ray's SV, he had an aftermarket muffler on it, carbon fiber one that I repaired from it, actually broke in half. I repaired that, and it was a little on the loud side. I'm kind of glad this bike is on the quiet side. And this bike, when I had it on a track at Pocono, it surprised me. It shocked me how good the handling was and how much fun it actually was to ride. And as this ride was going on, it just kept getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And I was looking for more shade. I was looking for some roads with a lot of shade. Yeah, today would have been a great day to go up to Harriman Park and have the whole ride in the shade, but it did work out fine. And I call this bike an all-weather fighter. No matter what the weather is, no matter what the road conditions are, it's a great bike. And it's nice in my case if you do get to ride a lot of different equipment, a lot of different types of bikes, and I've had a lot of them, and I've gotten to ride a lot of other people's bikes. So when I make a comparison for myself, and it's usually only for myself, it is pretty valid. Now, one of the styling cues I really like is how the exhaust system snakes around inside the fairing, kind of like the R1 does. And I spent a lot of time polishing that exhaust. I did all the paint work on this bike. There's no stock paint on this bike at all. The gold, custom mixed with my own pigments, mixed my own paint for the wheels, and that carbon fiber seat cowl. And if you're looking for a bike that does a lot of things well, that's what I always think. It's the equivalent of a Sea Ray boat. Ray and I used to always, when we were boating together on Greenwood Lake, we'd look at the Sea Rays go by and think, boy, they do everything right. And by the way, that tail section, that whole construction and paint and buffing is out on the channel. Just look it up, go backwards on the channel about a month or so. The gold wheels, a separate set of videos of doing the gold wheels. Actually, all the paint, all of the modifications, all of the custom work, about 600 hours, a whole winter of shop work, and a lot of little modifications you don't really see until you look at them really, really up close and personal. Yeah, this is one of the things you really don't look forward to when you're blasting down the twisties. And all of a sudden there's a FedEx truck, a car coming the other way, a guy with an oil truck, a giant oil truck blocking the road. Lots of fun. I had to take a picture for Henry Hawk here. Henry Hawk sends me pictures of his trip, his 9,000-mile rides on his Moto Guzzi. Henry, this time of year in this part of the country, everybody's putting their flowers in. Everything's blooming. Every ride is just, it's unbelievable how beautiful this part of the country can be at this time of year. And this bike really does, I got the SV650 does, who loves the back roads. A middleweight bike, you can throw it around through the S-turns. You can lean it over until your shoes are dragging. It is just the definition of having fun on a motorcycle. So 15 years ago when we got this bike, Rob and I shared it, and he's kind of given it over to me. But 15 years, been reliable as a stone. Is it hot enough for you? Nice and cool. Air conditioning, not on my bike. The Ninja does not have central air. Yeah, this bike really is the evil twin to the SV650, and boy, that Suzuki sold 1 million of them. They're great track bikes. I had this bike on the track. It was great. Enjoyed the hell out of it. They handle better than you think, and I know especially the SV650 has such a good reputation as being easy to turn into a track bike or a custom bike. This guy, not as common of a bike, and that's one of the things I like about it. It's a little more unique. So thank you, Ray and Marilyn, for being a wonderful host when I was in Florida. And to my late good friend, Art Thomas, I miss you dearly. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit the like button if you did, and thank you so much for watching.